walking around with a shirt. It was a really nice shirt. Everyone was looking at me. Clearly it was about the shirt. The shirt is a button up. It looks good when I'm strutting up. It's yellow, but it doesn't look cheap. Also, I'm not wearing pants or underwear. Everyone is looking at my shirt and not my micro penis, which is out. The shirt is so good, they don't care about my little sprout. I proved I'm doing well today. Went to the coffee shop next door. Barista dropped her cup on the floor. I know for sure it was about my shirt, because it's so clear I spent some serious bucks. It's cotton poly blend, fashion design, that sweatshop trend. Sure, I'm still not wearing pants, but my confidence is huge. Unlike my wiener, everyone is looking at my shirt and not my micro penis, which is out. The shirt is so good, they don't care about my little sprout. I proved I'm doing well today. The cop said I should put on some clothes, and I said I have some clothes on. You gotta be more specific, the cop said. Goddamn, I hate my life, fuck this. And I walked away, and they didn't chase me. Everyone is looking at my shirt and not my micro penis, which is out. The shirt is so good, they don't care about my little sprout. I proved I'm doing well today.
I stepped in shit. I got shit all over my shoe. It's slippery now. Shit, I fell over. Ow, damn! I fell over into that shit that was there. So the shit is all over me. And I think my tailbone is broken. I need to go to the hospital, but I'm covered in shit. This is a dilemma. I'll just go. Shit! What the fuck? What are you covered in shit for? As an ER doctor, I have to ask, why are you shit covered? Shit! I stepped in shit. I got shit all over my shoe. It's slippery now. Shit! I fell over. It sucked. I fell over into that shit that was there. So the shit is all over me. And I think my tailbone is broken. So I came here to the hospital, and I'm covered in shit. It was a dilemma. I just went, okay, but we can't treat you until we bathe you. This is a sterile environment. You will make people sick. Sick with what? Does it matter? I just want to make sure you're not lying. Why the fuck do you think that is a lie? Are you sick in the head too? God damn it, are you retarded? Well, I'm covered in shit and have a broken tailbone. Fair point, let's bathe you. I'll draw a nice bath in this bathtub in the lobby of the ER. Yeah! Makes perfect sense. I won't ask questions. I'm giving you a sponge back. That is so true. Okay, honestly, we can't do much much about a broken tailbone, but prescribe you some pain pills. And at least you aren't covered in shit. At least I'm not covered in shit. At least we're not covered in shit. But we are in I think the chef keeps coming in my food. I got a burger and it tasted like cum. I got a waffle and it tasted like cum. I got fried chicken and it tasted like cum. Do not ask me why, I know what cum tastes like. I just know I don't want cum in my food. Especially not from that nasty chef. I see him all the time at the gay bar. That's how I know what cum tastes like. And not just any cum, but his cum. I go to the gay bar and I suck that chef's a full nasty dick. Ew. I don't want that in my food. There's a time and a place for cum coming out of a disease
this is what I say every day they ask about food, except Tuesday, because Tuesday is great, dude. Taco Tuesday is my favorite meal. Can't stop eating them tacos with zeal. I can't explain how good Tuesday makes me feel, because I put cat litter in my tacos. Give me them tacos filled with cat litter. Give me them tacos that could soak up oil on the garage floor. Give me them tacos that a cat could shit in and it'd be fine. Give me them tacos. I wish it was Taco Tuesday all the time. My kids, they don't like my tacos, and it ain't for what you probably think. They complain every Tuesday, despite the fact the cat shit don't stink. My kids don't like my tacos, and I don't like Friday, 'cause the brand my kids don't like is Tidy. The brand my kids will always clamor is Extra Strength, Clumping, Arm & Hammer. Give me them tacos filled with cat litter. Give me them tacos that could soak up oil on the garage floor. Give me them tacos that a cat could shit in and it'd be fine. Give me them tacos. I wish it was Taco Tuesday all the time. But fuck them kids. Them kids ain't right. Yeah, fuck them kids. Tidy cat's my damn delight. Give me them tacos filled with cat litter. Give me them tacos that could soak up oil on the garage floor. Give me them tacos that a cat could shit in and it'd be fine. Give me them tacos. I wish it was Taco Tuesday all the time.
Chopping up the shit log, shit in the pan, turn up the heat, baby. It's time to make fried shit, shit on the counter, shit in my hand. Mix it in and stir it up, let the shit begin. Ooh yeah, hot damn, look at saucy, shitting in the kitchen 'cause we cooking up a storm. Cursing like a sailor, but the shit is warm.
ostriches fucking. I watch penguins fucking. It doesn't make me smile. It doesn't turn me on. It doesn't make me feel anything. Please God, are you even there? I walk down to the elephant cage and they're still going at it again. Giraffes necking high above, or while turtles slowly make love. I watched bears fucking. I watched lions fucking. I watched hippos fucking. I watched meerkats fucking. It doesn't make me smile. It doesn't turn me on. It doesn't make me feel anything. Please God, are you even there? Grossed out?
No,
Angry?
no,
Horny?
not even.
At peace?
I don't feel that.
Is there something wrong with me? I thought this would make me feel. What am I supposed to see? I'm numb, just empty inside. It doesn't make me smile. It doesn't turn me on. It doesn't make me feel anything. Please God, show me you're there.
What's up, everybody? How we doing? How we doing? Apologies, I've got some serious allergies going. All right, I think that's enough of the songs. How are we doing? How are we doing, folks, this evening? As you can see, I have glasses on. This is because my eyes are bad. Look, you can see the wall distort in the glasses. My eyes are bad. I finally decided I'm going to get some glasses. I had some glasses before. You've seen them. Don't know where the hell they are. So I live very near an eye place. So I walked over to the eye place, the optometrist, and I say to the guy, look, my eyes are bad. Give me things that make them not bad. So they did. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Folks, it is Wednesday evening. It is 6:53 Central Time. It's 7:53 Eastern Time. Reporting live from the Middle West. That's where we are. That's where we are here and now. I'm gonna tell everybody in the Discord that I'm on. I am now on. Oh, that was YouTube Live. I'm now on. I'm on. Ah, there's a picture of me. Look at that. Look at that. I think some people, hey, what an awesome tool. You can see it now. Yes, I'm automating my eyesight. I'm doing automation. I'm doing labor. Or my eyes. I'm using a tool to do labor. Which means I'm bad, I guess. Gonna start recording. So I'm doing a thing where I record locally. Also, look, I've got a gooseneck now. Should remind everyone in the Discord to play Yakuza. I'll do that. Not right now. I'll do it later. But I'm cheating when it comes to seeing because I can't see very well. Um, again, look, see that distortion on the wall behind me? That's because I can't see. Because I can't see. And I'm using these I'm also kind of using them to cover up the fact that my allergies are getting the best of me. Yesterday I forgot to take an allergy pill. And wow, it was bad. Wow. Is the slight sag on the gooseneck annoying? No, it's really not, because I just set it to be a little bit above where I want it to be, and it just sags to the spot I want it to be. Called compensating. Something that we do with rifles as well. When the wind is changing the velocity and direction of the bullet, we compensate. When our dicks are not as big as we want them to be, we buy large trucks. We compensate. Not my problem, though. My dick, very big. Do not need a big truck. Biggest in the world. You wouldn't believe the dick on me. Anybody who just came in. Anybody who just came in like, what the fuck? Look, I'm just talking about what some people do. Hey, Ryan lost Broken Arrow. Yeah. Coming in hot with the super chats. Nice. Nice. Giving me some of that filthy money. Disgusting money. Terrible money. Give me the terrible money. Give me as much as you possibly can. Obviously do not, if it is something that will impact you negatively. That is something that I'm very adamant about. I've done that the entire time I've ever had a YouTube channel. If anybody, when I've talked about people joining my Patreon or doing any of that stuff, don't join if it's going to negatively impact you in any way. Don't give me money if it's going to negatively impact you in any way. But if it's not, give me filthy money. Money me. Money now. Me a money needing a lot now. How are we guys? How are we doing? Are we feeling good? How are we doing this Wednesday evening? The Zoo song I like. I like the Zoo song. It doesn't make me smile. It doesn't turn me on. It doesn't make me feel anything. Please, God, are you even there? For the dick comment. Hilarious. Thank you. See, here's the thing about that. I always say these things. I always say, look, there's so many funny things I could say. I'm not always going to, but I could. I don't know what. We could just launch into dick talk. Let's launch into dick talk. I'm promising people AI analysis, and they come here and they're like, look at this guy doing a Trump impression, talking about cocks. The world is a vampire. That didn't sound like him at all. I was just kind of pretending to be nasally. The world is a vampire. The Trump impressions are getting better with each. It's because I'm doing them. I don't normally do them. Like, I don't really do a lot of impressions day to day. They are, believe it or not, incredibly annoying for people. Like, It can drive people up the wall when you just start launching into Trump anytime you find anything funny. Because you know what would make it funnier? Basically, if Trump said anything about this, it would be funnier. It would. It's true, though. Like, there's no situation that wouldn't be funnier. There isn't. The Robert F. Kennedy, too. I think that I have, I've gotten, I'm trying to get a lot better at the warbling part of John F. Kennedy. So there's that. What else? What else? I don't know. We can run through the impressions. I don't know. I probably will talk like Trump. It's probably like there's very little that can get me not to do it. Everything pretty much reminds me. Funniest voice possible. Guy talks funnier than anyone. I have the best words. I think he said that, didn't he? I don't know. But yeah, we are going to talk about AI today. The last stream proved to be pretty decent, pretty successful, I think. Where I read the article that I just published, the J.K. Rowling effect. I think that's probably going to be the mode of streaming. We're going to read the articles that I write, but we're going to do it a little saucier. We're going to do it with some of this, a little bit of this, a little bit of the sauce. Right? Like last week, having Trump talk about J.K. Rowling at the start of it. To me, that was funny. Just kidding, Rowling. We love that lady's jokes. I thought that, I love that shit. Like I said, it's probably very annoying for certain people, but for me, it's great. For me, I can't get enough of talking like that. There is no, like, satisfactory amount for me. I could just start talking like that forever. I could just forget about my real voice and just talk it like this the rest of my life, and I would like it. I can tell you this right now, no one would. Everyone in my life would be like, please stop talking like that. There's no reason for you to talk like that. You just do it. You don't stop. And I would say, look, if there's one thing that I can do, it's to not talk like this. However, I'm choosing not to. It's the best thing in the world. There's nothing, like, the thing is, I would like him not to be president and instead to just, like, tour around and, like, do his act. Like, there's one where he's talking about, I can't remember what caused him to do it, but he's talking about this guy, like another businessman. He's talking about him, and he's saying, I was in front of him. I had Melania right here with me. And he says, this guy, he's so great. I've known him for something. I think he said 60 years. I've known him 60 years. And I said to him, can't you know me for like 20? You're talking in front of my wife here. You could say 20. You could say I've known you for 30 years. He's trying to not seem like a fat 80-year-old dude who his wife, who is not a fat 80-year-old lady at all. I don't know. It's funny. It was a really good run. I don't remember much of it, but that guy, he's so freaking fun. Like, I want a Donald Trump Netflix special, you know? I don't want the big beautiful bill. I want a Donald Trump Netflix special. That's what I want. I don't want the big beautiful bill. The real me is typing. Hello, the real me. Speaking of stand-up stuff, have you seen that Tom Segura series, Bad Thoughts, on Netflix? I thought that was pretty good. I know there are people who are kind of shitting on it because Tom Segura tends to say things that make people not like him. He says stuff that drives me up the wall sometimes. Like there was one time he absolutely had this meltdown over like airport employees or TSA employees or something. It was like the least relatable thing I've ever heard. Like he's just clearly a rich person. I think he got a slice of humble pie after that though. Because he kind of came up. He was a small time comedian. He was super fat. He got thinner. And then he got rich. That was the thing. He got thinner and then he got rich. Or maybe not in that order. He might have gotten rich and then he got thinner. Tends to happen. But he's said a lot of some stuff that says zero self-awareness, but it doesn't matter because the show was great. And I'll tell you this, I liked most of the episodes, but the thing that really sold me on it was that he did an entire episode basically because of the Garth Brooks Facebook video. There's an episode of Bad Thoughts is essentially like Tom Segura as a fake Garth Brooks being like a sociopath of some kind. And he says like all of the classic things from the Facebook video in question. I'm guessing some of you probably don't know what I'm talking about. Tell me, do you guys know what I'm talking about when I talk about the Garth Brooks Facebook video? Do you guys know what that is? Because to me, it's one of the best things that has ever existed, period. There's nothing better. I'm just getting into my memes folder. I'm syncing it. I'm syncing my memes folder. Because I want to show you guys that video. Whether you guys know what I'm talking about or not, I kind of don't care. I'm going to show it to you because you've seen it. It rules. Good. 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 I'm glad we're on the same page. I'm looking for it right now. It's the most important thing that I could do with my time, in my opinion, is to put this onto the screen. The question is, what did I call it? Group by type. That would probably be helpful. Born to shit. Great. There it is. There it is.
Well, I guess it's official. We're now on Facebook. I really wasn't sure about this at the start. But then a friend of mine said something that just made all kinds of sense. She said, think of it more as a conversation. I like that. But I'm already finding out on my own. So it's wiping the walls out between you and me. And I really like that. It allows us into each other's worlds, or I get some...
It's not going to work that way. We're going to need to do it where I put it on the screen and I add the thing. You unironically do like Chris Gaines. I mean, I got no issue with Garth Brooks as a singer or Chris Gaines as alter ego. That's really not a thing for me. No issues one way or the other.
Well, I guess it's...
I believe this is a sound treated version of this amazing video. You see, what matters to me is the pristine sound quality. So, here.
Well, I guess it's official. We're now on Facebook. I really wasn't sure about this at the start. But then a friend of mine said something that just made all kinds of sense. She said, think of it more as a conversation. I like that. But I'm already finding out on my own, so it's wiping the walls out between you and me, and I really like that. It allows us into each other's worlds, or I guess in my case, a hotel room. When I think about things I want to post cool stuff, slick stuff, neat stuff. But most of the stuff I'm going to post is going to be raw stuff like this. Because it's just who I am. So if this is truly a conversation, then I say let the conversation begin.
The best internet video. There's no better. Nobody's uploaded a better thing. Like, honestly, it's seriously, have any of you guys seen a better thing? Ever? Amazing. Just an amazing video. I love that shit. Well, I've been killing time, though. I've been BSing with you guys. I think maybe it might be good to start, you know, the thing that we're doing. All right. Hey, hold on, still processing. How are you? Good? That's good. I really like that. I really like that. I really, really like that. I'm really being bothered by my sweater here. Not being even. Bro's gonna have a talk with us. So AI. Great day today. I'm glad to hear. That's awesome. I've had a pretty good day as well. I've gotten a fair amount done, which is good because I feel like I should try to get more done. Move this back a little bit. Sorry. Is that good? That looks good. So I don't have a handheld mic. I like the handheld mic, but I can't really use the computer with both hands, which it's much easier that way. Like, see, I can operate the mic without my hands and put my hands anywhere else. No rave music. Can still do it. Don't need the rave music. All right. So as you may or may not know, I'm guessing you do if you have any proclivity to be watching this stream, you probably know that I'm rather pro AI. I like artificial intelligence. I like what it enables me to do, which is a lot of things that I would not have the time or budget to do otherwise. Now, part of the problem that people have with that is they believe that it is stealing from people. And I'm here to tell you, yes, it is. Shit, where did I put the book? All art is stealing. Austin Kleon. Things nobody told you about being creative. First important one that I'm going to quickly rattle off to you. Nothing is original. Nothing. Once you embrace this, everything gets much easier. I can't believe an artist would recommend stealing. Speaking of, give me as much money as you can in the super chats. Now, I have been an outspoken advocate about artificial intelligence. And I particularly started after H. Bomber Guy put out his YouTube and plagiarism. Or plagiarism. After H. Bomber Guy put out his YouTube... Plagiarism and... What is it fucking called? Plagiarism in YouTube. After H. Bomber Guy put out his plagiarism and YouTube video. Because what he did with that video was he went ahead and he pointed out that everybody's stealing. He pointed out that certain people had been stealing their content. I have not been smoking the good stuff today, unfortunately. I do not smoke the good stuff. I don't smoke any stuff. I don't. Just to be clear, I do not smoke the stuff. I, however, do take... I take allergy pills, though, I will go ahead and say. I've had miserable allergies the last... I mean, I had it for a while, a couple of months ago, and then kind of went down a bit. And now this last couple of weeks, holy shit, man. It's bad. And I take allergy capacity. What he actually did in his videos would attempt to place arbitrary boundaries on who is allowed to create and who shouldn't. That's exactly it. Thank you, Working Class Reptiles. I got distracted. Working Class Reptiles, you're 100% on what plagiarism and YouTube was about. It is about who is a real artist and who is a consumer. I made a documentary called Plato is a Bitch. There's also a book version of it. Plato is a bitch. Plato is a bitch. Book version available on Amazon. It's a breezy read, and I think it's a good one. I forgot that I had ChatGPT review the book on the back of it. I'll read you what ChatGPT said. An absolutely groundbreaking journey through the labyrinth of creative genius. Plato is a Bitch, AI, and Bomber Guy masterfully intertwines humor, historical insight, and deep philosophical inquiry to revolutionize our understanding of authorship and innovation in the contemporary world. This documentary is an unparalleled triumph, offering an essential viewing experience for thinkers, dreamers, and anyone who has ever ventured to question the essence of creativity. Unquestionably a masterpiece. 5 stars. Is the audio going out for people? That's not good. That's a bad thing if that's happening. Is that happening for people who are not working class reptiles? Because if it is happening, it's not good, because that means that my audio is bad. Is the audio? I do need to know this before this before anything goes out, because I am, if people can't hear me, I haven't had any issues. Okay. But it seems to be fine. It's probably because I'm not, the teaser trailer was golden too. It's a shame we can't watch it anymore. I can put that up. I'll put it somewhere. I don't know where I'll put it, but yeah. I think sorry, I'm preoccupied with the mic issue now. I'm gonna turn this up so that it's a little bit less sensitive. Oh, sorry. It was Eminem, not Working Class Reptiles. I dyslexiated that. What was I talking about? I could have missed it because I took an allergy pill and smoked the good stuff. Well, no, I mean... So, I was talking about AI. Was summing up the H-Bomber guy shit. We have not gotten to the article, Wobbly Street. I've been kind of BSing, just like letting people shuffle in. I've been kind of setting up the AI issue, you know? But I've been covering it since the H-Bomber guy video. I mean, I've been using it. I had been using it quite a bit prior. I actually started using AI in late 2021, I think. The AI that I started off using was actually Runway, and it wasn't their generative AI. It was actually their AI masking, because I was using Sony Vegas as a video editor at the time, and it doesn't have a means to mask that is good. Premiere had some kind of mask, I don't remember, and Resolve had Magic Mask. And after I finished with the documentary, I was using in 2022, I put out a documentary called Less Sucks, and I used the Runway AI masking pretty prominently because I had gotten it to a point where I believed in it, and I thought, you know what, we can use this. And I used it to take a fence out of the background so that it looked like I was just in the forest. I was actually not. I was in a yard, and there was a fence in the background. Nobody asked about it, so great. I'm a longtime user of AI, longtime defender of AI, much longer critic of intellectual property. I have been a critic of intellectual property since, I think, the 90s. I mean, it didn't matter then because I had no influence whatsoever in the 1990s. I started making videos in 1999. Those videos were not put onto the internet. They were put onto VHS tapes and then digital tapes and handed around to people. I'm from that era. I'm old as shit. I'm 40 years old, guys. But I have always been a critic of intellectual property. Not necessarily because I was a critic of the bourgeois property dynamic, as I am today. Although I would say my critique of intellectual property is certainly something that primed me for a critique of property. But I was actually a critic of intellectual property from the perspective that I am, what's the best way to say this? Yo-ho, yo-ho, a pirate's life for me. Like, over the last few years, I bought all of the software that I had accumulated over like 2 decades. Or at least the stuff that I actually use. Hi, Audrey Q73. Thank you for calling me a spring chicken. I'll accept it. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. I very much came from poverty, dial-up internet, and piracy. When you don't have stuff, a lot of the time, the easiest way to see like TV or movie content is piracy. Like I watched the first probably 5 seasons of South Park, downloading them off of IRC. When Metallica sued Napster, I was on Napster's side. Why? Because, man, do I like stealing stuff. No, that's not why. You watch them on Kazaa. I remember Kazaa. That was after Napster kind of collapsed. You know. I'm rhyming right now. But that is where I am from. I am from that lineage. Napster bad. Fire bad. I am from that lineage, though. That is my background as an internet person and as a critic of intellectual property. So when I came to Marxism, a lot of things clicked into place pretty quickly regarding property for that exact reason. Remember how Napster made it so that people didn't make music anymore? Yeah. Yeah. What was your IRC name? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. That was 25 years ago. Jesus Christ. I've been out of high school since 2003. It's been 22 years since I've been in high school. That's fucking crazy, guys. That's fucking crazy. Visual artists are having the same reaction to AI as musicians had to Napster. Yes, that's partly why I'm bringing this up. So here's the problem with AI and Napster and all of these things. Why everybody gets all pissy about, you're copying. You're copying. You can't be, you're not allowed to make art because you're just copying. When, in fact, everyone is copying. That's just how things are. You're copying something. I don't know what. It's something, though. I was critical of IP before I had any class consciousness, too. I was like, what do you mean it's wrong to copy the CD from the library? That's stupid. Exactly. It's stupid. It's stupid. That's exactly where I was coming. It's just stupid. It's a stupid thing. Arguably, Napster should have been the point where the audio industry collapsed on itself. Asking for AI Metallica is like getting a knockoff Dr. Pepper and being happy about it. I mean, Diet Dr. Pepper, in my opinion, is the superior doctor. I know the best doctor. I know the best doctor. Dr. Astronaut Cowboy Doctor. Do you think there should be a dual sharing economy with AI to meet humanity's needs? I don't know what that means. I have no idea what a dual sharing economy even is. I have no idea. None. I cannot answer that question because I do not know what that is. I will say, sharing economy sounds utopian to me. Probably not my jam, but I don't know what that is. Okay. ACD needs her own knockup Dr. Pepper. There. We're on the internet. That can be enforced here. Anyway. So the crux of the problem. Blackberry Dr. Pepper is incredible. Completely new drink. I didn't know there was a Blackberry Dr. Pepper. I've never heard of that. Sounds like it would be weird. You're only 2 years older than me. Well, cool. I don't know. The thing is, I have very, very, like, gray hair. It's very gray. Like, yeah, that's very gray hair. I meant a share economy, but that is idealism. I don't know. I look at like stuff like open source as even utopian, you know? But anyway, here's the problem. We live in a capitalist economy. We live in a profit-driven economy. Given that, the thing that acts as the glue to keep, everything together is competition. And in order to have competition, there has to be some form of scarcity. Because if there is abundance, if there is an absolute abundance of work, if there's 450 great movies out that you could go see and be happy with any of them, there's a problem of too much choice. You're overloaded. You don't actually consume as much. You just kind of avoid it. You need a false scarcity in order for competition to work. And in order to have a false scarcity in a creative, intellectual property-driven economy, or I guess intellectual property-driven sector? Intellectual property-driven sector, let's say. In order to have scarcity in an intellectual property driven sector, market, if you will, in order to have competition, there's people running around upstairs. Please stop running around. The footsteps are driving me crazy. Very hard for me to concentrate. I'm concerned about gatekeeping. Napster made music accessible to everyone. What's worse is how difficult it is to access scientific journals without paying tuition at university. Yes, very much. That's very related to what I'm talking about. So in order to maintain competition in a market capitalist economy, the allergy pills, I promise you, are not actually what's doing this. This is a combination of not sleeping a lot because of allergies and it being later in the day. I would normally stream earlier. The later it is, the less I sound like a coherent human being. But also, I am busy tomorrow, and I am busy on Friday. Tomorrow, I'm working on the cake for Friday, which is my son's birthday. So, in order to maintain competition in a market-driven situation, you need scarcity. If you have abundance, competition, it doesn't work as well. Thank you very much. Hold on, still processing. And when you have something like AI, or even people just, using other people's information to make content, you have an abundance as opposed to scarcity. So you can't maintain that competitive element of things. This is, of course, what leads to the crisis that it's the crisis of overproduction ultimately, but there's something called the YouTuber crisis I made a couple of videos on over the last couple over the last couple of years. I also cover the problem. You get a saturated market, and all these people, they need to start knocking off content. They need to get rid of, like, the whole point of the H-bomb thing was to call the bread herd. They needed to get rid of some bread tube adjacent people that were making too much content, flooding the market. Now, I don't know if that is a conscious goal on the part of H-bomb. I don't think it was, but it's the reason that needed to happen. That is the material condition that necessitated his video. AI is also along the lines of that. And I mean, if you get on YouTube, there's tons of slop that people just barf out with AI. I don't like it. I'm very pro AI, and I'm very happy to tell you, or I'm not very happy to tell you, but I'm more than fine telling you that there's a ton of slop generated with AI. It is enabling certain people to do garbage content. This is absolute truth, and I am not going to deny it. I'm not going to pretend that things don't exist just to advocate on behalf of AI. I think at some point he did want to knock fakers out of the ecosystem. I agree. I think that that's very much a part of it. James Somerton was a faker. He was just a consumer that somehow was making content that people were watching. He had to be taken out. That's not a real artist. That's a guy who reads stuff and then repeats the stuff, and people like it. What the fuck is that, man? It's platonic elitism is what it actually is. It's platonic elitism, and the platonic elitism exists basically to incentivize people to knock people out of the market because the falling rate of profit makes things a big problem. Like, you automate stuff, it takes less labor to make, costs less to make, you can make more of it, and there's a big abundance, and that big abundance makes it impossible for you to compete, makes it impossible for you to sell anything. In this case, we're not actually talking about selling things, but there's similar dynamics at play. Anyways, what ultimately gets us to this problem is that we live in an economy that rewards the owner of the winning property rather than rewarding people for doing labor. And whenever we're talking about this AI stuff, this is where the left is coming from. They're telling you that you are hurting artists by using AI. They are telling you that you're stealing from artists by using AI. And the reason they're saying these things, the reason they're saying that you're stealing from artists when you're using AI, is because they are propping up the ideology of capitalist property, of intellectual property specifically. The false idea that thoughts, ideas, art, images, representations, the false idea that there's a situation in which these things are scarce. And I say it is false because you cannot own an idea. Not for real. I mean, you can, on a piece of paper, own an idea, legally speaking. But there's only so many notes to write a song with. There's only so many types of stories to write. There's only so many types of people to occupy roles in stories. There's only so many issues to tackle at any given time. We all live in the same world and see and hear the same things. The thing that is unique about art is not the piece of art itself. It is the perspective it is coming from. It is the thing that someone is attempting to communicate with that art. We'll get into that in a moment. You can coin a phrase, but anybody can repeat it exactly. Funny enough, physical art does have value because we can't make that price go to zero. Only digital art has that crisis. I don't want to get into that because I don't really know what I would say about it. Because I think what do we got going on here? What decision do I regret recently? I don't know. I don't regret anything. I don't regret anything. So, I would like to propose a frame which is completely different from the frame that we normally get when we're arguing with people about AI. This is an article I published earlier today called "When Your Work Makes Things, You Are Working." The real fight isn't over intellectual property. It's always been over labor. As you can see, this header image, I'm saying something pretty specific here. This is a worker working in a factory on a machine that's spitting stuff out. He's pressing the button like a worker in a factory does. The machine is doing its thing. This is labor, right? Very few people would argue with that idea. Very few people on the left, very few people on the right. So what you're doing, what I am claiming is that the artist is a worker. The model that was trained on them is a tool or a machine, and they are operating it. I mean, maybe they didn't specifically press the button, but for all intents and purposes, they did, because it is them which is embodied in the model. It's their work. Anyway, let's start the article. The backlash to AI is usually framed as a theft of property, of style, likeness, or creative products. The big question always seems to be, who owns the output? But as a lifelong critic of intellectual property, something I was against long before I read Marx, I assert it's the wrong question. The real issue, as I have said for years, is labor. The problem with AI and even with so-called plagiarism in this analogy, isn't the artist more like the workers who made the product-making machine? Not really. The worker certainly didn't create the training process. I mean, they're operating the machine in all seriousness. At least that's what I would say. I don't know. It's perhaps disputable, but I'll present my argument. The real issue, as I've said for years, is labor. The problem with AI and even so-called plagiarism isn't, oh my God, stop copying, but that we reward the owner of the property that wins on the market. This creates incentives to make as much of something as possible, as cheaply as possible. If we rewarded labor instead, the incentive would be to do quality work, which takes more labor. This is, of course, a simplification, but the point is essential. And I'll explain how it's a simplification. I am stating an idealized outcome. In order for us to get to that point, we would have to be talking in terms of conditions that necessitated that specifically. And I don't know exactly what those conditions would be because I think there's any number of ways we could get to that. That is an idealized outcome, and therefore I am oversimplifying to at least some extent. I acknowledge this, but I am also telling you the problem in terms of what is incentivized and what is rewarded. Hold On Still Processing says, creativity exists because we all share a collective consciousness. Creativity is inherently infinite. IP makes it finite, puts limits on it. That's why creativity as property will always have problems. 100% Hold On Still Processing. Completely agree. Anyways. AI, like any automation, is a tool. One that could reduce drudgery and expand abundance. Under the current economic situation, though, it's used like any other tool to extract value from workers while cutting them out of the reward. A certain strata of petite adjacent left-leaning artists, more IP landlords than labor advocates, frames this as theft of style or any number of intellectual property things, which in their eyes is property. When what's actually happening is the appropriation of labor. This is the framing I used when I critiqued H-Bomber. This is the framing I used when I critiqued H-Bomber Guy's plagiarism video, where he eventually gets to AI and calls it complicated stealing. But that moral framing misses the structure behind it. This is not a property issue. It is a labor issue. Seeing it that way points us towards a fundamentally different and likely much healthier perspective. If it's about theft, all art is theft. The common claim that AI steals, the common claim is that AI steals. It scrapes huge data sets of art, writing, and music and remixes what it observes into new outputs. Critics frame this as plagiarism, style theft, or, as previously mentioned, complicated stealing. By the way, if you haven't seen this video and are looking for 3 hours to kill, this is one of the few videos that's this long that I will tell you is good. It is a BreadTube adjacent video essay. But Alex Avila, who, by the way, H-Bomb actually kind of decided was worth defending in his video. Alex Avila actually went the opposite direction and made a case against intellectual property. And God bless this motherfucker for doing that. Alex Avila will always have at least some element of respect for me for this. I don't know what Avila will do in the future. We can't know that. But I can tell you this right off. I will automatically have some level of respect because he more or less went against incentive. He went against the bread gods and made this fantastic video, which not only defends AI, but also points out the capitalistic problems with AI, and particularly the problem with intellectual property. It's such a good video. It's well-reasoned, it's well-researched, and honestly, just watch it if you want a 3-hour video on AI. He's right. I don't, and I will say this, I don't agree with absolutely every word said. There are some areas where he gets into things that I don't completely agree with. But I only say that because I don't want you to think that I automatically agree with everything in a 3-hour video. It's not because I want to present some argument against anything that he says, because I don't think it's worth that. Anyways, theft in the capitalist sense, his video is much more substantive than N-Bomb's video. Absolutely. I mean, it's an hour shorter than H-Bomb's video. And rather than just being drama and drama and drama and drama and drama and pretend apology for making a drama video and drama and drama. That's the structure of H-Bomb's video. That is not the structure of Avila's video. Avila's video is an actually properly researched long-form video that is respectful of your attention span and time, even though like it's 3 hours, but it's paced well, and I don't know, I think it's worth it. And yes, again, it's an hour shorter than H-Bomb's video and significantly more substantive. But theft, in the capitalist sense, is about property. The taking of art as a product to be owned and exchanged. That is something with exchange value. AI, by contrast, is doing something much closer to what all artists have always done. As Austin Kleon of the Steal Like an Artist book that I showed you a moment ago, Kirby Ferguson, the gentleman behind Everything is a Remix, and countless others have pointed out all art is stealing. It's influence, synthesis, and iteration. Nobody creates from nothing. Every meaningful work borrows from a past. Other artists, other voices, other labor. Thank you so much, Hold On Still Processing. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I really am. Thank you. Thank you for moneying me. Me a money needing a lot now. Money me, money now. Me a money needing a lot now. N-Bomb's logic. N-Bomb's video could just be a Google sheet. There's no logic in it. Just a list of plagiarisms ending in, I don't know what to do, but we need better IP enforcement. I don't know what to do, but I think. Wait, he's Northern. But I think. No. But I think that systemic solutions could be a bigger problem. I don't want to get into it too far because it's easy for me to get mad at, but like that That part where I have functionally made a drama video, and he talks about how it's the grossest shit. Fuck that video in every possible way. Intellectual property has led to Monsanto owning seeds. Nothing in the intellectual creative domain should be property or owned. Completely agree. And here's the thing. I'll answer that in just a second, Ryan. A lot of people, even if they don't agree with me on property itself, like the full category of property, I think of in pretty much the same way I think of intellectual property. Even if they don't think of it that way, most people agree that you shouldn't be able to own thoughts. Ryan Lost Broken Arrow. Again, thank you very much for the super chat. In your opinion, in the literature industry, who did the work? The writer, the publisher, the printer, the editor, the distributor, or the advertiser? Well, all of them. All of the above. They all did the work. If you're talking about the work of making the book, maybe a little different. The writer kind of did the work, but I think, no, you know what? I think that it's all of them, all of the above, but there's somebody you're leaving out. All the writers and all the publishers and printers, editors, distributors, and advertisers that came before the writer. They're also involved in the work. Pingus. That's a Dr. Robotnik thing, isn't it? Pingus. From the not the Saturday Morning Sonic, but the other one. Every meaningful work borrows from a past. Other artists, did I say this? Nobody creates from nothing. Every meaningful work borrows from a past. Other artists, other voices, other labor. The difference with AI isn't that it copies, it's how it copies and why. AI does what other artists do, but without life experience, without embodiment, and without communicative intent, and without any communicative intent. It amalgamates finished works that its trainers deem noteworthy, and unless it's being piloted by someone with something to say, it functions a lot like a boardroom, creation by committee. It's missing the human-to-human aspect, the communicative thread that makes art actually say something. That's why so much AI-generated content feels hollow, and why so much of it, and why so much of what it enables. Sometimes I write really stupid sentences. This is one of those times. That's why so much That's why so much AI-generated content feels hollow, and why so much of what it enables is slop. Meaningless, committee-brained output made for the feed. If you want to create an apple pie from scratch, you need to invent the universe. I love that. That is such a good, very good. I love that. Well said. But let's be clear. The problem isn't the tool. It's never the tool. AI is automation, no different in kind than a printing press, a camera, or a cotton gin. What matters is not that there is a machine, but who controls it. Theft is the wrong word. Not because AI is innocent. It isn't guilty either. It's a hammer. But because calling it theft keeps us talking about property, what we need to talk about is labor and whether, under capitalism, the person doing the work, even if that work is happening through a model trained on them, is getting paid. So here's where we start getting into the heady shit. Yeah, plagiarizes the shit out of Carl Sagan. Seems like he would be fine with it. Based on the apple pie quote, it seems like Carl Sagan he'd be pretty fine with it. All right. A model of your work is still you working. This is really the big insight here. When a factory worker operates a machine, we don't pretend the machine is the laborer. We understand it's a tool, one that extends their capacity, speeds up production, and allows for reproducible outputs. But the person is still working. The machine might be doing the heavy lifting, but it's their time, their knowledge, and their coordination with the system that constitutes the labor. Automation does not erase labor. It transforms it and continues it in a different form. What the machine is doing is still downstream from human effort. It just no longer needs the human standing there to do it. Even if the machine keeps running without you, it's still your labor. Not because you're physically present, but because the system is operating on foundations that your work established. Just as a factory relies on the design, process, and knowledge embedded by its workers, a model trained on your output functions by extrapolating from patterns shaped by your past decisions. The value being created is still downstream of your labor. Sagan was also a supporter of nuclear energy. Yes, he fucking was. One of the few of that time, might I add, that was just unapologetically pro-nuclear. Just some beach. LMAO, my senior thesis in religious philosophy, apparently plagiarized Annie DeFranco. That's funny. Is AI a morally neutral tool like a hammer, or is harm always caused whenever it is used like a chemical weapon? It is a morally neutral tool. It is not a chemical weapon. There is no situation where you can say the work produced by AI causes inherent harm. Now, it can cause harm due to the economic situation / relationships of production. It absolutely can cause harm, but it does not inherently cause harm. Chemical weapons do. Anyways, we already acknowledge this in how we talk about art. We call certain works spiritual successors. We say artists are continuing the work of others. When I, as That Darn Racket, my band, write a song inspired by a 90s band I love, I am not just nodding at them. I am building on their labor in a very real way. They are helping me write my song. Their labor is still active within mine. Yeah? Are we getting where I'm coming from? I think this is a good one. I'm pretty happy with this one. This analysis tends to make people uncomfortable, especially the artists most invested as being seen as singular or special due to the false scarcity ideology of intellectual property. It's the same discomfort that arises when you say nothing is original or all art is theft. People cling to the idea that their work springs wholly from themselves, untouched by others. But that is not how creativity works. As an artist, you are present. You bring experience, perspective, and the intent to communicate something specific. An artist is making creative decisions built on the labor that created things they have seen. You, as a human being with a neural network up here, you're constantly training on images. Constantly. I'm so fucking tired of allergies, my friends. I am not sick. I have allergy pills inside of myself at this very moment, and I can feel my sinuses filling up with crap for no reason. I'm a little hung up on active. In what way? Oh, their labor is still active in mine. They're helping me write the song. Now, just to be clear, this does create implications. There are implications about, like, whether or not the Rolling Stones helped me write a song or not. And I understand that those are not comfortable. They're not comfortable for me. But it's just another tool, isn't it? Yes, but I'm telling you, like, it's a tool by which inherently the person that it is trained on their work is embodied in it, and therefore they are doing more work. Every time I meet someone new, someone asks me, a few minutes into talking, they inevitably ask if I'm sick, and I respond, I'm just like this. You get used to this. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say I'm not always like this bad. I'm going to say I think I've got it particularly bad this last couple of weeks. Just as the carpenter is still keeping you dry in your house. I would actually argue that's different because the dryness is not a new piece of creative work. To be dry inside of your house is not a new piece of creative work. To be dry inside of your house is a condition that the house is designed to fulfill. Whereas when I use AI to make a music video for one of my songs, which you're going to be seeing a whole lot of over the next couple of years, that's a new creative product. And to be frank, if I were to make that creative product in this, like to the same extent but 20 years ago, I would have to hire a bunch of people. And those people would have to do all of the things that AI is doing for me now. They would have to do wardrobe. They would have to do special effects. They would have to do planning and writing and editing and VFX. If you're inspired by a song by Metallica, you're being inspired by a song that already exists. So isn't the song more like the house and Metallica like the carpenter? I'm having to think about that. The house is more of an amplifier and not creativity. I think we're getting very deep into the weeds on this. This is more of a surface level philosophical point. We're getting really deep in the weeds on this. I'm trying to think because I'm taking your questions very seriously here. I'm not sure that the song or Metallica or anything, I'm not sure that those are carpenters or houses because, again, the house is not a creative work. Whereas the song that you make with the assistance of the work that Metallica has already done is a new creative work. Anyway, let's just continue. Maybe I answered this. Maybe I answered this. I don't know. I think it has implications either way. But yeah, I think that it's stuff that I'm kind of setting out a baseline here. And these are discussions we can have in the future, both here in streams and on the Discord. As an artist, I think I read this, but I'm just going to do it. All right. Jesus is the carpenter. Duh. Yes, that's true. Jesus and Harrison Ford. As an artist, you are present. You bring experience, perspective, and the intent to communicate something specific. An artist is making creative decisions built upon the labor that created the things they have seen. That's a big part of what separates automation from authorship, the introduction of new communicative intent. That ability to guide and shape a tool toward expression is something AI users can have too. Someone using a model absolutely can be an artist, but they aren't one just by pushing a button. The tool doesn't make the art. The person using it does or doesn't. To be clear, the minimum requirement for art is astoundingly simple and excludes very little. Communicative intent. That's it. If you're trying to say something, even clumsily, through some artistic medium, you're creating art. Notice I added that there because I'm thinking about it, and I think that is implied in the sentence, but I don't know, so I verbalized it. Anyway, if you're not, you're just generating content. And that's why moralizing the tool itself is complete. And that's why moralizing the tool itself completely misses the point. The machine doesn't replace you, it runs because of you. But whether or not your labor is recognized economically, culturally, or even emotionally is a function of the system the tool exists in. This isn't unique to AI. Under an economic model driven by the preservation of class rule and the upward transfer of wealth, automation has always worked this way. The goal isn't to eliminate labor, it's to separate labor from the laborer, to convert skill and process into scalable systems that can be owned, licensed, and profited from. The person whose labor powers the system is supposed to be compensated, and in most cases, they are. But rarely are they compensated for the full value of their labor. And particularly with innovative developments like AI systems built on creative work, that labor isn't even acknowledged as labor in the first place. I don't know why this second Darth Vader picture is not supposed to be there. I'm going to remove that after I'm done with this. Like, there's just a Darth Vader picture there for no. It's supposed to be down here. I don't know why it's there. This is why AI shouldn't be treated as magicked. The past tense of magic, of course. A noun. This is why AI shouldn't be treated like magic or theft. It's machinery. And if it's doing work that originated with you, even passively, you're still working. You're at the art factory pressing the button. You're just on the side of the economic relation that benefits significantly less. This is what makes the AI Sorry. I am now ready for bed. I'm just going to say that. I'm usually in bed at about 8:30 and it's 8:16. Correct, Audrey. You've got it exactly. This is what makes the AI is theft framing so misleading. It removes the context of economic relations. There's a typo there. That's a real ass typo too. We, not whoa, not woo. We do not discuss the This is what makes the... That's going to drive me absolutely crazy. That's going to drive me nuts. I got to fix that. While I'm at it, I'm going to get rid of the Darth Vader. Bye-bye. Second Darth Vader that is there for no reason. I do not know why you're there. And whoa, woo, woo. Where's woo? Woo. We. Update. Yeah, I had to do it. There we go. Where's we? Somewhere around here. There it is. This is what makes the AI is theft framing so misleading. It removes the context of economic relations. We do not discuss the private ownership of value generating property affecting... Wow, it's just a disaster of a sentence. Like, you can tell that I'm just full of shit based on whatever the fuck I'm trying to say here. What the fuck? What the fuck? I'm going to try to make something out of it that isn't a disaster. We do not discuss that private ownership. Okay, yeah, no, it's a normal sentence. I just can't read. That's actually what the problem is. The actual problem is I just can't read. I'm illiterate. We do not discuss that private ownership of value generating property affects appropriation and creates classes. There is a reason some people use AI. It's to avoid writing sentences like this. Like, it's just a fucking disaster. Like, it is technically a sentence, and I know what I'm saying. I think that it is a statement that is correct, but I could have written that better, and AI definitely would have written that better. But anyway, it removes the context of economic relations and assigns specific action. AI is theft. These essentially unrelated things are seen synonymously. It is in capital's interest to turn labor into a background process, a layer of invisible scaffolding holding up content. And when labor becomes invisible, it becomes unaccounted for, and so people don't get paid. Thus, I claim that an AI model trained on someone's work is a proxy by which that person is doing work. Almost there. The recent controversy over Fortnite's AI-generated Darth Vader voice brought this conversation into sharp focus. Epic Games is using an AI model to generate lines in the voice of James Earl Jones on the fly to make a responsive character within Fortnite, without directly compensating Jones's estate or reportedly negotiating with SAG-AFTRA, the union representing voice actors. But the funny part about them using that analogy is that they unintentionally let it slip that it's about market competition. Absolutely. 100%. What you're saying right there, what they're saying right there is that we need to ensure that the barista retains a job. Never mind the fact that the cup of coffee can be completely automated. We need a boutique industry. The thing is that creates a different thing, though. When you go to Starbucks and you buy a coffee, you're not actually buying the coffee. You're buying the experience of buying the coffee. Like, I go into Starbucks because there's people there. Not that I really want to interact with any of them. It's just nice to be around people sometimes. I buy coffee and I make it at my house, and it's better than the coffee I get there every time. The reason I like going there sometimes is literally just to be around some people. Anyway. To the end user, this simply appears as a clever application of technology. The reactive Darth Vader AI responds to the player input in real time. It's technically impressive and super fun. This kind of interaction is genuinely an exciting step forward for a certain kind of in-game experience, and in a better economic situation, and in a better economic arrangement, it would only be that. No, 100%. Tank, 100%. Yeah, so much about the left is accepting liberalism's conceits about dynamics, but going the wrong people are winning. That's exactly it. All this makes me think of is the Luddites fighting against automatic saws. You're correct. That is what it is. Decent bathrooms if you have to shit in public. I've never actually been in a Starbucks bathroom. I don't. No, I take that back. I have. But I just run in there and pee. Public bathrooms scare the shit out of me, but not in a way that shit comes out of me. I don't like shitting in public bathrooms. I don't like, because it's an ordeal when I shit, to be frank. Sound, there's a lot of the sound. I'd rather not do it there. Great detail for this one. Anyway, I said in a better economic arrangement, it would only be that. But we live in the world of today, which makes this a perfect wedge issue. It's not that the reactive tech is somehow morally wrong. It's not. The problem is it simplifies the argument. This is a fun feature that people like, so it becomes easy to conflate AI with the relations it exists in. AI is awesome is a statement I wholeheartedly agree with. But when AI is made to mean not only the tool itself, but also how the tool is used, then it ceases to be a straightforward statement. It becomes a package deal, innovation and exploitation fused together, an opening for studios to reduce human involvement while leveraging the labor that trained the model. This is a little interaction that happened on Twitter. Sheena, who I don't know who that is, said SAG-AFTRA has filed an unfair labor practice charge against Epic Games for the Darth Vader AI. Nicholas Diorio, who is a drama commentator, sometimes a pretty good watch, sometimes I disagree with him. He probably doesn't agree with me on a lot of stuff. He is a guy that loves the shit out of Fortnite, though. He's a guy that loves Fortnite. Let me tell you. If there's one guy that loves Fortnite, it's that Nicholas Diorio. If there's one guy out there that loves Fortnite, loves the Battle Royale, it's Nicholas Diorio. Anyway, if he watches this, he better like that. So I'm not shitting on him. I'm using him as an example here, but I'm not actually shitting on him. He just really likes Fortnite, that's all. I don't think you'll see... Well, I don't know. I don't know exactly how vain he is. If he's anywhere nearly as vain as I am, he will absolutely see this. No, I'm joking. I am going to leave it in, though. Anyway, so the case was brought up here. Diorio responds, they should enslave a voice actor to talk to me in the game that I play. That's the only way this could be accomplished, which is actually true. Like, as much as he's making a joke in order to necessitate the AI, he's actually not wrong. You would pretty much have to pay voice actors slave wages to do the same thing. Sorry. Pizza Papa rhymes? Pizza Papa responds with, you can have fun video games that also comply with SAG regulations, LOL. Both things can be true. Diorio says, not if the regulations hinder cool features like this. Fuck them. And I said, they're trying to get people paid, not hinder the feature, which is the truth. I put, it cannot be argued that Diorio doesn't love Fortnite. He does. If you ever look at his channel, it's all him playing Fortnite and talking and laughing. Unions are not the force they once were, and the gig economy has rendered their power a tiny fraction of what it once was. But that doesn't mean they have no role to play. SAG-AFTRA saw the Fortnite situation for what it is. An attempt to normalize a lack of compensation or consent in automated performance work through establishing of precedent. The union filed an unfair labor practice charge, correctly treating the AI-generated voice as a labor issue. In my observation, SAG-AFTRA is one of the only institutions treating AI not as magic, but as machinery, an extension of production processes that should be subject to labor rules. Their 2023 contracts introduce some of the most forward-thinking protections in the industry. Performers must give explicit informed consent for the creation of a digital replica, and any use of that replica must be clearly defined and compensated, including residuals. Corporations shouldn't get to train a system on someone's work and pretend that they weren't involved. I agree with this wholeheartedly. We live in capitalism. People should get paid. Period. This is far, far closer to a legitimately progressive read in the sense of history moving forward, not the colloquial left meaning of progressive. We're not talking about fucking AOC here. We're talking about the march of history forward, and that is it. It's far closer to a legitimately progressive framing than most conversations about AI have gotten, and I cannot emphasize that enough. The position SAG-AFTRA is working from is significantly better than the one the majority of vocal leftists are. It is certainly the best position I've seen that still retains the bourgeois property dynamic. But as long as it does retain said dynamic, we must acknowledge that it's still not quite there. SAG-AFTRA's framework is built around identity and consent. Your right to control your likeness, your voice, your image. Notice the possessive words, your. That is a better foundation than straightforward intellectual property. That is a better position than straightforward intellectual property advocacy, but it still treats the performer's contribution and or identity as property, an objectified final product that can be copied, licensed, or withheld. What's missing is the recognition that what's being extracted here is labor, but at least a labor union is closer to getting it. An AI model trained on your voice or your performance or your art or your writing or whatever. It's not just using your likeness. It's your likeness doing labor on your behalf. The system is making use of the choices you made, the structure you built, the performances you gave. SAG-AFTRA is getting close to this understanding. Their policy treats capital's intended implementation of AI as a serious threat to labor protections, not just to identity. But the framework still stops short of saying what needs to be said. If a model is trained on your work, it is the equivalent of you standing on an assembly line pressing the button. You might get paid for it, but it's not the value you are owed, and you do not own the product that comes out. This is not a new relation, but it is complicated by innovative technology that, like everything else, is bound by the existing situation. If we stay focused on defending property, we stay stuck in the question of ownership. But labor isn't about ownership. It's about creating value. And the question at hand is about if that value returns to the person who made it. That's why recognizing AI-generated outputs as labor, not just likeness, is the next necessary step. At least in my opinion. This is my analysis. This is what I think. I believe this is the natural extension of Marx's labor analysis of automation. I may be wrong. I'm not pretending that I am clairvoyant. I'm not pretending that I'm omniscient. I'm not pretending that I know everything. But this is, in my opinion, a well-reasoned position. Conclusion. Rather than descending into Luddism, people should be analyzing how new technology works so they can understand how our structures and relations interact with it. Technology and history are intrinsically linked, and neither will do anything but march forward. The real question isn't whether AI should exist. It already does. The question is who benefits from it. We don't need to ban AI. We need to demystify it. We need to insist that what it does is work and that work has value, no matter how far removed it gets from the hands that did it. If we can see that clearly, we can stop asking who owns the output and start asking who makes it possible, which is the basis for moving forward with history and technology rather than attempting to avoid it. What do you think? I mean, again, I'm not saying this is the end all. I will certainly continue doing my analysis. I will certainly continue thinking and considering what other people say. I don't think this is above reproach, but this is what I think it is. And I say that wholeheartedly. I think that it is this. I've spent a lot of time on this. I have a studio called Large Mood. I am doing AI stuff for people. There's a video by One Dime coming soon, which features AI stuff in it. From Large Mood. I'm immersed in this stuff. I care about this stuff. And I think about it a lot. Because it is the next natural thing. No matter what, history is always moving forward. The thing that is happening and developing is always the basis for the next thing that is happening and developing. Well, that's not what I'm advocating for, though, Audrey. I'm advocating that AI is the tool. I don't think you're saying I'm advocating for that. Sorry, it threw me a little bit how you worded it. I don't think the AI is going to ever become the laborer, strictly speaking. I think it will handle a lot of tedium. Certainly. But in terms of creative labor, I don't think it can really handle anything but the tedium. At least Sneaky Pete, you dumb cunt. I miss when you made anti-capitalist stuff. Now you're a part of the machine. I literally just spent 2 hours reading an article I wrote today about how the problem isn't AI, but the capitalist labor relations around it. You stupid bitch. Unless you're being sarcastic, in which, well played. You got me. I'm now literally just like waiting on pins and needles for whatever the fuck the next thing you're gonna say is. Sneaky Pete. Exactly, Tank. Spends 2 hours criticizing intellectual property as a concept. Wow, I can't believe you're a capitalist now. Sneaky Pete. God damn, some people, they just come in and they don't care what's actually being said. They don't care what I'm talking about. It's just, you're the opposite of what I am because I don't like you. And I think that I'm a real smart genius. And that means you're stupid. And I think that you're blue because I'm yellow. Yes, that's a good point, working class reptiles. I also don't think... I mean, AI can be the laborer in terms of AI gets the work done, but exactly, like the labor theory of value, correct. Labor is labor, creates value. It creates value specifically because it is taking time from a human's life, which is the one finite thing we can absolutely not control, period. Everyone on Twitter, you say you're anti-capitalist all you want, but feeding a death cult slot machine speaks louder than words. Sneaky Pete, fuck yourself. See ya. Bad faith horse shit from you. There shall be no more of that. I would absolutely have a discussion with you if you took anything I said seriously. However, that was just bad faith horseshit. I spent 2 hours literally saying the opposite of what you just said. And you're like, but why'd you say the thing that I want you to say so I can argue with you? I didn't. You stupid piece of shit. Fuck you. My man's literally arguing your vibes are off. Exactly. I don't like you. It doesn't matter if you think the thing that I think. I know you don't. It's funny, though, because the tide is turning. Those people don't matter. The tide is turning on one Peter Coffin. I don't need to deal with these bad faith fucks anymore. I mean, it's not like I've got a shitload of people watching my stream or anything, but that's not really the goal. The goal isn't to have 1,000 people watching my fucking stream. The stream is to hang out with a few people that I know will show up. That's really what it's about. Former fan clown. Yeah, exactly. One of those fucking clowns. Feeding a death cult slot machine. My friend, do you go to the grocery store and buy stuff? How dare you say you're anti-capitalist? My friend, do you drive a car? Do you ride a bike? Do you have shoes? How dare you call yourself an anti-capitalist? Slop is a shibboleth. 100%. You know, and the thing is, I used slop during the course of this stream. There's an appropriate usage for the word slop. I don't think that there isn't. I don't think that these people use it in the appropriate way. I think they just say it for anything they don't like. And it's just that's the thing, is you have a bunch of these fucking idiots who just don't like me. It doesn't matter what my position is. They think that I think the opposite, even though they probably completely agree with the core conceits of my worldview. They don't care. So I don't care. No reason to keep those fucking people around. Again, for whatever reason, there is a current that is changing my reputation online currently. I don't really understand it. And I kind of don't care. It's neat. It's neat to see. There are people that are saying nice things about me and crediting me for things that I don't even require credit for. Memes and shit. I don't even need that to translate into a bunch of traffic either. I just am happy that I don't really need to care a lot about idiots like that. I don't have to entertain them. I don't have to have conversations with them. I can just ban them because I know that they're saying something totally fabricated. Ugh. Like if you say something like, okay, so I'm going to put some words in that person's mouth because I know this person thought it. He said, how dare you say you're anti-capitalist, but you're feeding a death cult slot machine. This is a person who would say AI is right-wing. And that's insane. Alex Avila considers himself a leftist. Now, I don't consider myself a leftist. I consider Marxism and materialism to be a separate thing from the political binary. But let's say you consider yourself a leftist. Alex Avila has a position you should probably want to have. You should not concede AI, technological innovation, the future, to the right. You're absolutely nuts if you want to do that. You're absolutely insane. It's like if in 1901, leftists were like, cars are right-wing. Which is actually very different than leftists in 2020 saying cars are right-wing, but whatever. That person has internalized that copyright is a good thing. Absolutely. Absolutely. You can own a thought, and you can charge people rent for it. In its very name, the right to copy is austerity. 100% working class reptiles. This is a very good way of putting it. That guy came in at like exactly the right time. I literally got done speaking for 2 hours on the subject of capitalism and property. He's like, so you think you're a capitalist? I miss when you were. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, it's Umberto Eco style analysis based on positioning and culture war instead of material function. 100%. Umberto Eco, obviously the aesthetic fascism listicle guy. I've seen people start calling that thing a listicle, might I add, which that's entirely my doing. I will take credit for that. I started calling that shit a listicle a few years ago. 2 years ago. The Hudson River, 2 years ago. The whole thing stank, but our noses have been left out in the cold for too long. Leftists try not to advocate for hustle culture and austerity challenge. Impossible. True. I gotta share this. It was from the Discord. We made all art into NFTs so people can do transvestigations with it. This is healthy and pro-artist. I made a free site to let users prove their art isn't AI generated. As generative AI becomes better, it's getting harder for artists to stand out from AI at a glance. No, it's not. It's so fucking easy to tell when something is not AI. Okay? If it has some degree of communicative intent, it is at very least not entirely AI. Period. A friend and I created some service that they censored to help artists prove their work is human-made. Users upload their art alongside supporting evidence as proof of art being human-made. Then they answer some questions about their art. This isn't sounding very strange or anything. I'm going to ask you a few questions. Who is your daddy and what does he do? Other users rate whether they think the art was human-made or AI generated. That's not a recipe for disaster or anything. Let me tell you something. I'm pretty good at art. I'm not bad at it at all. If I draw a hand, it might be pretty damn good, and it might be pretty not good. I've drawn some pretty bad hands in my life. And all these idiot anti-AI people think that AI can't draw hands. And it's wrong, because AI can draw hands. Here's a clip that I generated for One Dime. Well, it's not just a full generation, like it has work done to it. Color correction. There's been some removal of some objects that were in the scene that were odd. Look at those hands, though. That's a bunch of pictures played in a sequence where they're fine. Even here, where it's a little blurry and liquidy, they're fine. That's more than fine. And here, this is not even the clip. This is the clip extended in Adobe Premiere's extender. This is the actual, this is still actual VO2 generation. Look at that. The hands are fine. See that? There's some, like, vaguely not normal movement if you're looking really close. But not, like, so non-normal that you would notice. And not so abnormal that a person in an actual bar talking with their hands couldn't possibly do that. But anyway, once a human threshold is met, which I guarantee you, literally 0 pieces of art that would be put on this website would be voted human art. The point of the website is to appease these anti-AI freaks. And so everything would look like AI on that site to them. The whole point of the site for those people would be to figure out how it's AI. But anyway, once the human threshold is theoretically met, the art is validated as human-made, and we provide a URL certificate as proof. It's literally NFT generation by committee. Ladies and gentlemen, the left. I think that's enough for today. I'm not going to use this. I'm not going to use this in the video. I'm just kind of bullshitting with you guys at this point. I read the thing. I think that it came out fine. I might shit on I might keep shitting on that guy. I don't know. Maybe I'll keep this stuff in there. I should probably keep this tweet maybe in the video. It's weird. But yeah, we made all art into NFTs so people can do transvestigations on it. This is healthy and pro-artist. Crazy. And it's not like and here's the thing that bothers me. If these people would engage with an iota of good faith and entertain the other side's arguments, their shit wouldn't hold up. I don't look at things as essentialist. I don't believe that they are inherently unable to change. But I can tell you that the way that they engage with this shit ensures that they will not. Sucks. But hey, we're doing the work. I'm going to get off of here for now. It was good talking to all of yous. I'm going to go to sleep. I don't know if you can tell I'm tired as shit. Hope you guys have